The little time I do get, the little time I do go out there and practice, you wanna all want to be on the same page with Deshaun. Make sure he likes what I'm doing. And just like I said in the beginning, the biggest thing is communicating. Let's stay communicating with each other and just understand what we want within each other. Look.
You gotta throw it early. Come on, bro.
You have to win. Separate.
Look, bro, look.
If you separate, I could put it on you.
If the ball is thrown early, I'm taking off. Come on, bro. Please.
You want me to throw a pick because you want the ball?
Me. If it's man to
bro,
man,
it's JJ, relax,
I can't keep dealing with this.
Look, bro, it's man to man. He on your ass. You got no separation.
Come on, that's a throw. That's a throw.
You capping.
Come on, man. It's cool. It's cool, man.
Let's go.
Locker room madness. No, scratch that. This is full-blown reality TV with shoulder pads on. Jeudy is back in the mix, and somehow he turned a regular team moment into headline drama, joking around and poking at Shedeur Sanders while low-key boosting Deshaun Watson like it's some kind of side mission. And fans? Oh, they are not chill about it at all. Social media is on fire. Group chats are exploding, and Browns fans are sitting there like, wait, what just happened in that locker room? Something big is brewing, and it doesn't feel random. It feels like the calm before something messy. So let's talk about it. What are people really thinking right now? Is Shedeur Sanders actually being held back by his own teammates? Or is this just locker room joking that went way too far and landed at the worst possible time? Because timing matters in the NFL. And this timing? Yeah.
Jeudy might have just abandoned Shedeur, bruh, for Deshaun Watson. Then we got owner Jimmy Haslam pretty much saying that Deshaun Watson can hit a home run if you start the season. You got Rizzo crashing out. What the hell been going on in Cleveland today? I know I'm late, but my goodness, y'all.
This looks suspicious. Stay locked in, because once you start connecting the dots, it gets real interesting real fast. Now look, locker room jokes happen all the time. Nobody is denying that. But this situation, it feels different. Jeudy is out here acting like he's starring in a comedy sketch, but the problem is, not everybody's laughing. Instead of building chemistry with Shedeur Sanders, it looks like he's creating distance, like he's picking sides in a situation where the team needs unity more than ever. And that's where fans start raising eyebrows. Because this isn't about being funny anymore. It's about respect, timing, and knowing when to fall back. And here's the part that really gets people talking. Shedeur Sanders isn't just some rookie trying to figure things out. He's been grinding, showing leadership, putting in work day after day. Teammates notice that. Coaches notice that. Fans definitely notice that. So when someone comes in and starts playing around in a way that might undercut that momentum, it hits different. It doesn't feel harmless. It feels like unnecessary noise in a situation that needs focus. You gotta ask the real question. What's the goal here? Because if you're trying to earn respect in an NFL locker room, this is not the way. Respect in this league comes from production, consistency, and having your teammates back when it matters. Not from jokes that could be taken the wrong way, not from moments that distract from the bigger picture. And right now, the bigger picture is simple. This team is trying to figure out its identity, and Shedeur Sanders is right in the center of that conversation. Meanwhile, here comes Deshaun Watson in the background of all this, walking around like everything is already locked in. And listen, nobody is ignoring what he's done in the past, but let's be real for a second. It's been a while since we've seen peak Watson on the field consistently. Injuries, time away, inconsistency. It's all part of the story.
Shedeur, not the starting quarterback at this moment. He finished the season on the field, winning his last 2 games. Do you know any other organization that would take a rookie quarterback who got no reps whatsoever in training camp and in the first 10 weeks of the season, they throw him in, beat him to the Lions. Somehow he survives and wins 3 games, including 2 of last 2 against your divisional opponents. He's got to earn the starting job. Okay. I'm okay with that. I hope Shedeur's okay with it. He's a gamer, he is. I just know based on what happened last year. Okay, there's a guy who got concussed and never played again. There's a guy who hadn't played in 4 years and coming off double Achilles, and a kid that won his last 2 games. And we're sitting here talking about who should be the starter.
Yet somehow, there's still this idea floating around that he can just slide right back into that starting role like nothing changed. Fans are looking at that like, hold up, are we watching the same thing? Because when you compare the energy, the hunger, the day-to-day work ethic, Shedeur Sanders is the one gaining momentum. He's the one people are talking about. He's the one building that quiet confidence that spreads through a locker room. That matters more than hype, more than contracts, more than old headlines. The league moves fast, and if you're not producing right now, someone else will step up and take that spotlight. That's just how it goes. And that's why this whole situation feels bigger than just a joke or a moment. It feels like a test. A test of leadership. A test of locker room chemistry. A test of whether this team is going to rally behind the guy who's putting in the work or get distracted by side conversations that don't help them win games. Because at the end of the day, none of this matters if it doesn't translate to Sundays. Watch how Shedeur Sanders is handling all of this too. That's the part that stands out the most. No extra noise, no overreactions, just focus. Calm, locked in, doing what he's supposed to do. That's quarterback energy. That's leadership. While everything else is swirling around him, he's staying steady. And that's exactly what teams look for when they're trying to figure out who their guy is. So now the question shifts to the Browns organization. What direction are they really going in? Are they going to let these small moments grow into bigger distractions? Or are they going to shut it down and make it clear what the priority is? Because teams that win, they don't let this kind of stuff linger. They address it, they clean it up, and they move forward with clarity. And fans are watching all of it. They're asking, how long do you let situations like this slide? How long do you allow one player's actions to create unnecessary tension? When does someone step in and say, enough, we're focused on football now? Because if this keeps building, it won't stay small for long. At the same time, there's another reality everyone can see coming. Whether people want to admit it or not, Shedeur Sanders is pushing forward. He's building something. And anyone standing in that path, intentionally or not, is going to be seen as slowing that progress down. That's just how fans interpret it. No wasted time, no sugarcoating it. Right now, Jeudy has people talking, and not in the way you want as a teammate. This situation? Yeah, it's one to watch closely. Now, this is where things start looking real interesting. Because while Shedeur Sanders is out there putting in work, stacking reps, and trying to lock in wins, you've got Jeudy down in Florida, linking up with Deshaun Watson like it's some off-season buddy movie. And fans are looking at this sideways like,
this was Jeudy, man. Deshaun Watson and Jeudy are throwing and working out down in Florida. The Browns off-season workout program begins next week. This crazy to me. Because we just heard Todd Monken say yesterday that Deshaun Watson ain't even been in the building. Dylan Gabriel ain't been in the building. So what y'all up to, bro? What y'all finna plot on? Cause this looking spooky. Look like y'all could be plotting on Shedeur or something. Now, I'm not saying it's against the law for Jeudy to work out with Shedeur, but you might be trying to help him. Like, I'm just saying he could look like he's trying to help him here a little bit. Beat out Shedeur. Do you want Deshaun Watson to be your quarterback? Because that's what it looked like to me.
wait a minute. What's really going on here? Because this isn't just about workouts anymore. It's about timing, optics, and what message this sends to the rest of the team. Let's be real for a second. Grinding in the offseason is normal. Players do it all the time. But when one guy is trying to lead the team forward and another is off building chemistry somewhere else with a completely different agenda, it raises questions. Big ones. Because football isn't just about talent, it's about alignment. Everybody moving in the same direction, same energy, same mission. And right now, that alignment looks a little shaky. And people are starting to notice a pattern here. Because every time Jeudy pops up, there always seems to be something extra attached to it. It's never just football, never just routes and catches. It's always some side storyline, some extra noise that didn't need to be there in the first place. Fans remember how things played out before, and now they're connecting dots again like detectives on game day. That's not a great look when your team is trying to build something serious. Now let's talk about the energy Shedeur Sanders is bringing. Because this part matters. He's showing up, putting in the hours, handling business like a pro. No shortcuts, no distractions, just straight focus. That's the kind of presence teams rally around. That's how you build trust in a locker room. And when you've got that going, the last thing you need is someone pulling attention away from it. Because momentum in the NFL? It's fragile. You either build it or you break it. And here's where the situation starts to feel a little off. Because while Shedeur is doing his thing, Jeudy linking up with Watson starts to look less like just training and more like something else entirely. Not saying there's some big conspiracy, but fans are definitely raising eyebrows like, why now? Why this setup? Because perception matters, and right now the perception is creating tension. Then you bring Deshaun Watson fully into the picture, and things get even more layered.
I'm inclined to say Shedeur Sanders because he finished the season, and Deshaun Watson has been so bad in the Cleveland Browns uniform. But because of the money, I'm inclined to try to at least give the man one more chance. I'm not saying to start him without him showing what he could do in training camp and preseason. I can't believe what a precipitous drop-off we've witnessed when it comes to Deshaun Watson in the Cleveland Browns uniform. When he was in Houston, it got to a point where it was like Patrick Mahomes, and then Deshaun Watson was right there with everybody else. And yet, that's not what we've seen happen since he's been in the Cleveland Browns uniform. And I'm just praying there could be some return to that Deshaun Watson. You gotta give him a chance with the money you owe him, the money you paying him, because you can't give him away, to be honest with you. But Shedeur Sanders did end the season. But my answer to this question would be Deshaun Watson.
Because here's a guy who hasn't been consistently active with the team lately, hasn't been out there grinding in the same visible way, but there's still this idea floating around that he's going to walk right back into the spotlight. Fans are confused. Not angry, not even hating, just confused. Because they're watching one player earn it day by day and another one still getting talked about like it's already decided. Meanwhile, in the background, you've got Jeudy looking real comfortable in that Watson circle. Smiling, training, vibing like everything's already figured out. And that's where people start questioning loyalty. Not in a dramatic way, but in a football way. Because teammates are supposed to build each other up. Especially when one of them is clearly stepping into a leadership role. And right now, that leadership role is being filled by Shedeur Sanders. That's why fans are asking, how do you trust that dynamic? How do you fully buy into a locker room where not everyone seems to be on the same page? Because trust is everything in this league. Quarterback to receiver, leader to teammate, everybody locked in. And when that trust starts to feel shaky, even a little bit, it becomes a conversation. Now let's not get it twisted. Shedeur Sanders doesn't need extra help to prove anything. The guy is already showing what he can do. Big plays, smart decisions, calm under pressure, that's what stands out. That's what wins games. That's what builds a team's future. And when you have that kind of presence, you don't need side drama. You don't need distractions. You don't need outside noise trying to sneak into the picture. Because let's be honest, this team is starting to lean in one direction. You can feel it. You can see it. The way Shedeur moves, the way he prepares, the way people respond to him. It all points towards something bigger building. And nothing happening off to the side, no extra workouts, no different alliances is going to change that trajectory. So now the pressure shifts back to the Browns organization. How long do you let these mixed signals exist? How long do you allow situations that could divide attention instead of focusing it? Because successful teams don't ignore this stuff. They address it early, they keep things tight, and they make sure everybody understands the mission. And fans, they're not staying quiet about it. They're asking the real questions. Is Jerry Jeudy helping this team move forward, or is he creating unnecessary complications? Because right now it's starting to look like more distraction than value, and that's not something contenders can afford.
Isn't it funny that we have to put terminology under the microscope? That's how much people don't want Deshaun Watson.
I understand
to play. By the way, I
think
realize
that's
every
true
time,
right now.
Now I will say every time me and you have said nobody wants to see Deshaun Watson, I do see the chatter pick up. Like, you haven't talked to me. There are fans.
Yeah,
I think they are a very, very segmented few compared to the rest of the fan base, because I think mentally most Browns fans have moved on. Even me. I mean, I'm somebody who wanted Deshaun Watson in a big way, and I've mentally moved on. The Browns tearing the signage down of Deshaun Watson from the stadium and acting like he never existed to begin with.
Well, I think they wanted us to move on.
And the start of the scrubbing of his entire tenure here.
Let's be honest. If they had big plans after the injury that happened against the Bengals a couple years ago.
At the same time, Shedeur Sanders keeps stacking proof. Every rep, every session, every moment. It all adds up. He's not chasing attention, he's earning it. And that's why the conversation keeps coming back to him. Not because of hype, not because of headlines, but because of performance. And then you've got Tony Rizzo stepping in, saying what a lot of fans are already thinking. How is Shedeur Sanders not the starter right now? That question is getting louder by the day. Because when someone finishes strong, delivers in key moments, and shows leadership under pressure, that's usually your answer right there. Remember how he closed last season too. High pressure, big moments, and he stepped up when it counted most. That's not something you ignore. That's not something you bench. That's the kind of performance that forces organizations to make decisions. Meanwhile, while all this noise keeps spinning, Shedeur Sanders is doing the one thing that actually matters: working. Showing up, stepping in, making plays, and stacking wins like it's just another day at the office. And somehow, the respect still feels delayed. That's what has fans heated right now. Because at a certain point, it stops being debate and starts looking like straight-up disrespect. Let's call it what it is. When a player goes out there and produces real results, not hype, not talk, but actual wins, you don't keep questioning him like he's still trying out for the team. You recognize it. You build around it. You lean into it. And right now, Shedeur Sanders has done everything you could ask for and more. Yet people are still acting like the story isn't finished. That's where the frustration kicks in. Now flip the conversation over to Deshaun Watson for a second, because this is where things get confusing. You've got a player who's been dealing with injuries, time away, setbacks, real obstacles that have kept him off the field consistently. And still the confidence, sky high, like the starting job is already reserved. Fans are sitting there like, wait, based on what exactly? And because here's the reality. Football doesn't run on past reputation forever. At some point it resets. It becomes about what you're doing right now. And right now, the guy putting in visible work, leading and producing, is Shedeur Sanders. Not theory, not projection, actual results. That's why the conversation feels so off to so many people. And let's not forget what Shedeur actually walked into. No perfect setup, no easy path, no warm-up stretch where everything was handed to him. He stepped into pressure immediately. No real preparation, no long runway, and still delivered. That's not normal. That's not luck. That's a player built for the moment. Think about that Lions game for a second. High intensity, big stage, and instead of shrinking, he showed up and took control. Not just a win, control. Then he follows it up with divisional matchups, where everything matters even more, and delivers again.
Is going to be the week 1 starter for the Browns this season.
You can't believe you're saying this? I can't believe Jimmy Haslam said that Deshaun Watson has a great chance to start. Let's just take the Browns owner at his word, despite the fact that a year ago, Jimmy Haslam thought that Deshaun Watson essentially had played his last down with the Cleveland Browns.
I believe he said it was a big swing and a miss.
Big swing and a miss is what he called it. Exactly, Dan. And now, a year later, that big swing and the miss is stepping back into the batter's box and getting another crack at the Browns starting quarterback job. And when the owner says there's a great chance, I believe that. Now, Deshaun Watson has not played football in the NFL since week 7 of 2024 when he tore his Achilles. And after that, he tore his Achilles again while recovering from the initial Achilles tear. I think people think of Deshaun Watson and his sordid past with all the major legal serious issues that went on and think, well, that's why he hasn't played. Well, there were the off-the-field issues and there were the on-field issues, and together it made for a combination that led Jimmy Haslam to say it was a swing and a miss. Everybody thought Deshaun Watson had struck out. And I think it's one of the more underrated, bigger storylines of the NFL offseason. Like, nobody's talked about Deshaun Watson. Nobody's forecasted him to be a part of the recipe to be the Browns starting quarterback. And here we are, less than a month from the draft, and we've got the Browns owner saying there's a great chance that Deshaun Watson, injured, beaten, battered, out of the league, trouble.
That's the kind of stretch that usually locks things in for a quarterback. That's the kind of performance teams build around. But somehow, the conversation still circles back to Watson like nothing changed. Like we're supposed to ignore what just happened on the field. That's where fans start shaking their heads. Because it's not adding up. You can't ignore production and keep pointing to potential that hasn't shown up recently. That's not how winning teams operate. And here's the difference that really stands out. Shedeur Sanders isn't asking for attention. He's not chasing headlines. He's just playing ball and playing it at a high level. Calm, focused, efficient. That's quarterback presence. That's leadership energy. You can't fake that, and you definitely can't replace it with old narratives. Meanwhile, Watson is still being discussed like some untouchable name, like he's automatically above competition. But the league doesn't work like that anymore. Every year, every snap, every moment, it's all earned again. And right now, the player earning it is clear to anyone watching closely. Fans are starting to speak louder too, not out of disrespect, but out of clarity. They're seeing a player rise in real time, and they don't understand why there's hesitation to fully back him. Because hesitation in the NFL can cost you everything. Momentum doesn't wait. It either grows or disappears. And what makes this even more wild is the situation itself. How many players, rookies especially, can walk into that kind of pressure with limited prep and still come out with wins against serious competition? That list is short, very short, and Shedeur Sanders just added his name to it. That should mean something. That should carry weight in every conversation happening inside that building. Instead, there's still this cloud of doubt floating around, like the team is overthinking something that's right in front of them. Fans are looking at it like, why complicate this? You've got a player producing, leading, showing growth. What exactly are we waiting for? And then the Watson conversation keeps getting louder again. Week 1, starter talk. Expectations. Projections. And fans can't help but laugh a little at that. Not in a disrespectful way, but in a this doesn't match reality kind of way. Because if you haven't been on the field consistently, if you're coming off setbacks, if things are still uncertain, how do you just skip the line? Add in the injury timeline too, the Achilles situation, the setbacks during recovery. It all adds another layer. This isn't just a simple return story. This is complicated. And yet the confidence around his starting role keeps getting pushed like it's guaranteed. That's where the disconnect grows even bigger. Then you've got Jimmy Haslam stepping in, speaking highly, backing the idea like Watson is still that automatic difference maker. And fans? They're not fully buying it. Because support is one thing, but performance is another. And right now, those two things aren't lining up the way people expect.
Signage doesn't come off the stadium. Signage doesn't come off the building. The names aren't removed from social media. There isn't all that stuff. I think that they're in a position they would rather not be in. I think that they wish that they had somebody that they could put in there and that he's a backup and he's only there because of the contract purposes and that's it. But they're not. And so now they have to be open-minded. I don't think it's a money issue. Some people have brought up, well, they're paying him too much. This team's paid $16 million for a second-round pick before. They've proven time and time again they do not care about the money issue of it. If you're good enough, they'll play you. It doesn't matter to you. I do think you have a new head coach. You're going to have to keep an open mind. And I think that they're trying to get everybody to open their minds up just a little bit. They understand that his name is not very popular around here. But I think that they're trying to open it up going, hey, we got to try to do something here. With Todd Monken, we got to try to do something in terms of winning. That's what I think they're trying to do when they open all this up. And I do think that over time, it might not be today, but I do think that here over this short period to come, that some people might go, well, maybe there is something there because they want something to look forward to. Even myself, if he ended up taking over the job, if they were like, okay, he's a clear-cut number one. All right, let's see. Let's see if we don't need another guy. Probably do, probably will. But let's just see one more time. I do think a lot of people will open up their minds.
At the end of the day, this isn't about past headlines, contracts, or expectations. It's about what helps the team win games right now. That's it. Simple. And when you strip everything else away, the answer becomes a lot clearer than people want to admit. Shedeur Sanders is building something real. Not hype, not noise, real results, real leadership, real momentum. And when that starts to take shape, you don't slow it down. You don't question it endlessly. You support it and let it grow. At this point, it's getting harder and harder to ignore what's really going on. You've got a situation where the production on the field doesn't match the spotlight being handed out. Deshaun Watson hasn't shown consistent football in a while, yet somehow, with help from locker room dynamics and guys like Jeudy, he keeps getting pushed right back into the center of attention. And fans are looking at this like, how does that even make sense? Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is doing everything the right way. showing up every day, putting in the work, stepping into pressure, and delivering results when it matters most. That's not talk. That's action. That's what leadership looks like in real time. And instead of that being the clear focus, there's still all this extra noise floating around the building. Now let's talk about Jeudy again, because this situation keeps circling back to him. The way fans see it, this isn't just harmless behavior anymore. It's starting to feel like he's moving differently than the rest of the team. During the offseason, during practices, even in those small moments that usually go unnoticed, there's this sense that he's not fully aligned with where things are heading. And in the NFL, being out of sync with your quarterback, that's a big deal. Every workout with Watson, every sideline interaction, every quiet moment that looks a little off, it all starts to build a bigger picture. Not saying there's some grand plan behind it, but perception matters, and right now the perception is creating doubt. Fans are asking questions like, is this helping the team or is it creating unnecessary tension? Because when you've got a young quarterback trying to establish himself, the last thing you need is mixed signals from inside the locker room. And imagine it from Shedeur Sanders' perspective. You're out there earning everything, every rep, every snap, every ounce of respect. You're leading, producing, showing that you belong. And then you look around and see certain dynamics that don't fully support that momentum. That's frustrating for any competitor, because at this level, everyone knows how important unity is. This is why people are starting to label Jeudy as more of a risk than a reliable piece right now. Not because of talent, but because of the situation he's creating around him. Supporting a quarterback who hasn't been consistent while not fully backing the one who's producing? That's a tough look. And in a league where every detail matters, that kind of energy doesn't go unnoticed. Then you bring Watson back into the conversation and the contrast becomes even clearer. Once a top name, no doubt. But right now, the version on the field hasn't matched that reputation. Injuries, time away, inconsistency. It's all part of the current reality. Yet somehow he's still being presented like the solution, like the answer, like the savior. And fans are just not buying that storyline anymore. Because the truth is simple. The player who is delivering right now is Shedeur Sanders. He's shown he can step in, handle pressure, and lead like a professional. Calm under fire, sharp in decision-making, and confident without needing to say much. That's the kind of presence teams build around. Every move he makes sends a message. Every play adds to his case. Leadership, discipline, execution. It's all there. And when you compare that to everything else going on, the gap becomes obvious. One side is building something real. The other side is running on past reputation and outside noise. That's why the talk around Watson and the situations involving Jeudy are starting to feel like distractions more than anything else. Not because they don't matter, but because they're pulling focus away from what's actually working. And winning teams don't allow that. They lock in on what's producing results and they double down on it. Right now, Shedeur Sanders is that focal point. He's not asking for the spotlight. He's earning it. Big moments, big responsibility, and he's answering every time. That's what separates players in this league. Not potential, not history, performance. So now the pressure is on the Browns organization. What direction are they really going to take? Are they going to keep entertaining distractions? Or are they going to fully commit to the player who's showing he can lead this team forward? Because that decision matters more than anything else happening right now. At the end of the day, this isn't complicated. The future of the team depends on clarity, on choosing the right leader, supporting that leader, and eliminating anything that slows that progress down. And based on everything we've seen so far, that leader is already stepping forward. No more confusion, no more mixed signals, just results. And right now, the results are speaking loud and clear.